In this video, we are going to review the worksheets that we're going to do for our drawing unit. These first two are the grid technique practices, and this third one is the shading practice. The two grid practices are actually back to back, and you can choose one to do. You do not have to do both. If you get done with one early, you could always flip it over and do the other side. So you can choose either one. The first thing you need to do is put your name, your class, so like 1A or 1B, and then your table number on it. The first step you need to do, which is very, very important, is label your columns and rows. So here we're putting 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way down. So we're labeling our rows, and then we're going to use letters to label our columns across the top. So A, B, C, D, and so on. You're going to do the same thing for the blank grid on the other side. So you're going to do your numbers down for the rows and your letters across for the columns. Next up, we are going to start drawing this image. So this is what the grid technique means, or follow the grid. You're going to look at one square and you are going to transfer the information from that square to your blank grid. So here we're looking at 1A, and we're making a smaller grid on there because you can break up a square into 4 quadrants, because then you can see exactly where the lines of the image land within each square. So when you say where does it land on the grid line, you just look at where does it land within the square, so the up and downs. So you can see here we're looking at how is this, the line of the image, how does it curve, is it straight, where does it hit within the box? So does it go to the corner, does it go to the middle of it? So you're breaking down each box and looking at where does the image line land within. So it really doesn't matter which order you do the boxes, just as long as you're following the grid. So you're looking at your example and you are transferring the same information over. So if you want to go straight across each row as if you're reading, like 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and go all the way across, you could. Or you could follow the line down where it's going down into like 2D, 3D, and so on. Either way is fine. It just is whatever makes sense in your mind. Another thing is, let's say you come upon a box that's really hard, then you could skip over to a different one, like 9A, or even like go to like the facial features. So it doesn't really matter what order you do them in, as long as you are lining up your squares. So it's kind of like if you're playing Battleship, like 4D, you sunk my battleship. Like, I don't know if you've ever played that game, but if you haven't, you need to, because it's really fun. But this is the same idea of looking at coordinates on your example with the image that you're trying to draw, and then finding those same coordinates on your drawing and drawing that information in there. All right, I'm back. So as far as like the facial features go, it's the same idea of any other box. So you're really not drawing, let's say, eyes or hair. You're drawing lines. So think of this is a thin line. This is a thick line. It's curvy. It's straight. So it lands in the corner. It's wherever the information from your example, whatever it is, you're just transferring that same information over to your drawing. So instead of just drawing an eye how you think it should look, you actually look at the image that you're drawing and draw what you see. So here, one of the eyes was in like, it goes through the corner. This next one doesn't go through the corner. It kind of is towards one, but you can see it's not exactly like the same. I mean, yes, it is the same, but where it's located on the grid is different. So really think about that and don't just draw what you think it should look like, but rather what you see. All right, I'm back again. So as you can see, this looks just like the image, not because Mrs. Dowd did it, but because she followed the grid. You can literally draw anything with the grid. So if you put a grid over an image, you can transfer that information over with anything. And after a while, you don't even have to use the grid anymore because you know how to draw what you see.